Hello or welcome student. Myself Professor Karan Ajay Gupta and today we talk about instrumentation of HPLC. From last video we talk about the principle of HPLC, importance of HPLC and we know about why HPLC one of the most important instrument in pharmaceutical industry. So in this video we talk about the different parts of HPLC. So let's start. First, I have tell you I have a HPLC from brand name is Waters. Waters is a brand name of this HPLC and Waters belong to United States of America or those pharmaceutical industry who follow US FDA always used Waters or US FDA also specialized in pharmaceutical industry use Waters because it is a USA brand and one important thing is that Waters HPLC are used software called Empower. Empower one of the most safest software according to US FDA. So data integration are not possible in Waters or Empower. That's why US FDA wants, if your industry want US FDA approval or your pharmaceutical industry want to sell your drug to USA or other countries, you definitely use Waters. So you are easily understand why these brand are very important for pharmaceutical industry. One very important question our interviewer asked to you is that what is the type of HPLC you run or define me type of HPLC. So HPLC are classified according to four parameters. The first parameter is that based on modes of chromatography. Based on modes of chromatography, it's have two type of HPLC. First is normal phase chromatography or second is reverse phase chromatography. The second parameter is based on principle of separation. Based on principle of separation, it's have four type of HPLC techniques: adsorption chromatography, size exclusion, gel permeation chromatography, ion exchange or affinity chromatography. The third parameter is that elution technique. Elution technique, it is one of the most important technique where HPLC are classified or produce or develop. Elution technique one of the most, or interviewer asks you a question, so you give answer according to elution technique. It is called isocratic mode or gradient mode. I will explain you what is isocratic mode and gradient mode. Okay, so elution technique contain two type of HPLC. First is isocratic HPLC and second is gradient HPLC. Or fourth and last is based on type of analysis. It is called qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis. What is qualitative and quantitative analysis? I was explaining you in last video where I was completely explain you what is qualitative and quantitative analysis. Okay, so HPLC are classified according to four parameters and the most important parameter is via elution type or elution type. HPLC are contain two type of HPLC. First is isocratic and second is gradient. Okay, so I will explain you what is isocratic and gradient mode. First, what is isocratic mode? Okay, in isocratic mode you have to prepare your mobile phase ratio first and then run. It will contain only one tube. It will contain only one tube. So first you prepare your mobile phase and then run in isocratic type. In gradient HPLC you don't need to prepare mobile phase first. Okay, so in gradient type, it is a gradient type HPLC and it will contain four type of tubes, A, B, C, D, four tubes. So you put your solvent there and A, B, C, D tubes are in there in solvents and set the ratio in software. Okay, so give the command to software and set the ratio. So according to ratio or according to command, the degasser mix your solvent and run. So you don't need to prepare your mobile phase first. You only put your solvent and according to command the degasser mix all the solvents ratio and then run in your HPLC. So you don't need to prepare your mobile phase. You only put your solvent right there and give command to software. Okay, in gradient mode. And in isocratic mode it is contain only one tube. So you prepare your mobile phase and then run. Okay, so it is a difference between isocratic and gradient mode first, but one of the most important thing is that in pharmaceutical industry they use isocratic mode, not gradient mode. In gradient HPLC pharmaceutical industry use isocratic mode. Reason I will explain you what is the reason behind this. In pharmaceutical industry they have to first prepare their mobile phase and then put mobile phase in first one bottle, put there one tube, it is a tube, and all other tubes B, C, D tubes in their second bottle, and set their ratio 100%. Okay, so all the mobile phase come from this tube. In this tube they are not in use, because I give the command to software and set the tube A is ratio is 100%. So all the mobile phase are come from tube A. Okay, so in gradient mode, in gradient HPLC, we use isocratic mode. The reason behind this, in isocratic mode, we easily obtain a baseline is very straight and parallel. Okay, but in gradient mode, we are not obtain the straight baseline. The reason behind this, because it is called degasser and it mix your solvents according to ratio you give commands in software. Okay, first it will collect all the solvents in degasser mix and then pump, degasser mix and pump. So there's something fluctuation observed, that's why we are not get the straight baseline, we get zigzag baseline. That's why the graph is not seen very good or very right way. That's why we use a isocratic mode in gradient instrument. So because the reason behind this, because of straight baseline. But in gradient mode, because of degasser mix and then push, mix and push, that's why we seen as little fluctuation in our graph. That's why it observed a zigzag mode. So in gradient mode we are not get a straight baseline, that's why we use a isocratic mode in place of gradient mode. So the one of the most important question rise this. So the question is this, why gradient are used or why it is developed. Okay, what is the reason behind this? Because if you use isocratic, so what is the importance of gradient mode? So I will explain you why gradient mode is one of the most important mode in HPLC, or why it is developed or its use. I will explain you why gradient mode is one of the most important mode or why it's developed. Okay, so let's see. If I have a drug and drug is in combination like PCM plus diclo. Okay, and I want in both drugs peaks in one graph like that, like this. Okay, its RT like PCM RT is 10 minute retention time, or diclofenac retention time is 30 minute. Okay, so I need both the peaks in one graph in combination, drugs in combination form. So if paracetamol mobile phase ratio is different and diclofenac mobile phase ratio is different, so we use gradient mode for both the peaks in one graph. So I set one ratio from there and one ratio for diclo. Okay, so this is only possible in gradient mode if you have two different mobile phase ratio, or you want both the peaks in same graph. So I will set first mobile phase ratio for paracetamol or second mobile phase ratio for diclofenac in software and give command to software, and then 20 minute first ratio run 1 minute 0 to 20 minute first ratio, and then second ratio run to 20 to 40 minute. Okay, so it will only possible in gradient mode. That's why gradient mode is one of the most important mode of HPLC. Second thing is that gradient mode also used for impurity profiling. If I want drug plus impurity peak in one graph, like this peak for impurity, or second is PCM. PCM impurity is 4-aminophenol. Okay, so 4-aminophenol impurity present in PCM paracetamol. So I want to get both the peaks in same graph, or PCM mobile phase paracetamol mobile phase ratio is different, or 4-aminophenol impurity mobile phase ratio is different. So I will set PCM for paracetamol mobile phase ratio in our computer and second mobile phase ratio for 4-aminophenol. So after some time mobile phase ratio is changes, so I will get 4-aminophenol peak is our graph as well. Okay, so that's why gradient mode are used as compared to isocratic mode. But isocratic mode are also very important because I will get straight baseline in isocratic mode, but in gradient mode the degasser first mix the solvent and then pump, mix the solvent and pump, so little fluctuation observed in gradient mode. That's why we are not get the straight line, we get this type of zigzag in gradient mode, not get the straight line in baseline in our graph. This is our graph or it is straight, but in gradient mode this graph like that, peak and then fill like that. Okay, so this type of problem always observed in gradient mode. That's why gradient mode are not used in commonly, gradient isocratic mode used in commonly way. But in case we want to get two peaks in single graph and both the peaks require different mobile phase ratio, so we use gradient mode. In HPLC mobile phase, many basic or commonly solvents are used. The solvents are methanol, chloroform, acetonitrile or acetone, and buffer. Buffer one of the most important part of HPLC mobile phase. That's why in HPLC polar mobile phase are used because of use of buffer or water. Reason is that many drugs are dissolved in different pH. Some drugs are dissolved in acidic pH or some drugs are dissolved in basic pH. That's why we use buffer in HPLC mobile phase. Okay, so this is very important point for HPLC. So you have to complete your buffer part if you go to interview in QC for HPLC or other instruments. Okay, so buffer related question are asked you. It is a very basic question in quality control interview. So let's talk about the important parts of HPLC. The HPLC contain the three important parts are pumps, column or detector. First, we talk about pump. In our instrument or my instrument, we have Waters Delta 600 pneumatic pump. Basically, HPLC have three types of pumps. We use three types of pump. First is displacement, second is reciprocating, or third is pneumatic pump. This is a pneumatic pump. The importance of pneumatic pump is that it pump our mobile phase continuously. If first cylinder is in, the second is out, and second is in, the first is out. That's why it continuously pump our solvent. Okay, or then the one of the most important part is purging valve. It is a purging valve. If I open this purging valve, the mobile phase is not goes to column. So it is basically used for the cleaning of the instrument, purging valve. But if I close this valve, the mobile phase then goes to the column. Okay, so it is a most important part of HPLC for cleaning of HPLC. Okay, that's why purging valve one of the most important part of HPLC. The other important point is sampling point. We have a manual sampling point. In manual sampling, we use a injector. It is a HPLC injector or its range is 25 microliter. 20 microliter one of the best volume for injection. So always remember 20 microliter one of the best volume for HPLC injection. Okay, so we take our sample in injector and then like load. Okay, it is a load and then remove this and like this and then inject. Okay, then we have to inject like this. In loading condition, our sample is written right there, but if we inject our sample or put downworthy, then our sample is run. Okay, but one of the most important thing also is that there is a 2 point, analytical point or semi preparation point. Okay, or two mode, semi preparation mode or analytical mode. In analytical mode are used in analysis purpose. Basically in analytical mode we are not regenerate our sample. Okay, so these are the use for the basic use in quality control laboratory. But in semi preparative mode, this mode are used in R&D laboratory where we regenerate our sample. Okay, so anybody asks you question what is the analytical mode or semi preparative mode, so tell him analytical mode are used as general purpose. We are not regenerate our sample again, but in semi preparation mode we collect our sample again after analysis. Yeah, regenerate our sample. Okay. Right now this instrument are set in analytical mode. Okay. This instrument have a manual injector, but in industry you have automatic injector option. Yeah, it is called auto sampler operation. So what is the auto sampling? In auto sampling you do not have to inject your sample, you only give command to your software and put your sample in this type of vials, and these vials are placed in trays. In one tray 32 vials you have to put, and this tray put into your HPLC. So according to command automatically injection apply. Okay, so you have not have to worry about in industry, or you have to get automatic injector and right there, so you have to easily apply your sample, but this instrument are a manually injection option. Okay, the another important part of HPLC are the column. It is a stationary phase. It is made by a stainless steel outer surface and inner surface, and the silica gel present in inner part. Okay, the particle size of silica gel is 2 to 5 micron. I have this column. This column particle size is 5 micron, or it is a C18 column. Basically, columns are classified according to silica gel particle size. There is also a column, but it is a trainee column, but this column are an analytical column. I will also explain you the dimension of this column. Its dimension is 250 into 4. So the meaning of 250 is its height is 250 mm and its width is 4 mm. Okay, and it is a C18 column, and the particle size of this column, particle size of silica gel in this column is 5 micron. Column are the important part because it is a stationary phase, or column are used for the separation of the compound. Okay, if you see any type of leakage in column, so the pressure is decreased. Always remember the pressure range of our pump is 2000 to 5000 psi. It is a basic pressure range in our HPLC. We use 2000 to 3000 psi pressure is okay for analysis. The next important part of our HPLC is detector. I have PDA detector. The full form of PDA detector is photodiode array detector. But before I explain the detector, first I explain you the complete process of separation of drug in HPLC. Okay, so first it is our mobile phase. The mobile phase has come to degasser. Degasser mix our mobile phase according to our command, and our pump suck this mobile phase to right there, and then pump this mobile phase to our column. Then we have to inject our sample right there, load and then inject. After injection, our sample dissolve in our mobile phase and come to column. In column, our drug or our sample are completely separate out or absorbed via silica gel. Then it's retained right there. How much time our drug is retained in our column? It is called its retention time, and it is a particular time when the peak has come to our graph. Retention time is a time period where the drug retained in column, it is called retention time, and it is denoted by RT, and in retention time the peak has come in our graph. Okay, so after drug retained in column observed via silica gel, then the drug has dissolved in our mobile phase and then come to the detector. After detector, the detector detect our drug, and according to its concentration it gives to the peak. Okay, if drug have a low concentration, the peak is low, or area under curve is very low, or the drug have a high concentration, so the area under curve is high. Okay, so let's come and then we talk about the detector. In HPLC there are several types of detectors are used, and the detector are classified according to the principle of the detector. Okay, so I have a PDA detector, or PDA detector are work on the UV principle. The meaning of UV is ultraviolet visible rays absorption principle. There are different detectors are also present in market according to drugs and its use, like refractive index detectors, conductometric detector, fluorimetry detector, amperometer detector, or mass detector. But PD detector one of the most useful detector in pharmaceutical industry and pharmaceutical field, because 90% pharmaceutical drugs are observed ultraviolet visible rays. That's why PD detector are most used detector in pharmaceutical field. Okay, so it is one of the most important part of HPLC called detector, or I have photodiode array detector. I will make a separate video about detectors and its principle when I will explain you principles of all detectors. This information helps you most in quality control laboratory. It is a controller. If you want to operate our HPLC manually, so you use this type of controller, or if you want, basically all the HPLC are controlled by a software, but several times we are not use our HPLC via software, we use direct manually. That's why this controller are used. So that's it guys, this is the parts of HPLC. In next part we will discuss, or I will demonstrate you the use of HPLC, how to use its software and how to operate, how to interpret it, or how to make report. So thank you very much for watching.